Now, as well as being in Status Quo, Francis Rossi has released 3 studio albums outside of Quo, either as a solo artist or with Hannah Rickard. And unfortunately, as many will know, there was an album being worked on in the 1980s with Bernie Frost, Flying Debris, which did not see release, a little bit like Rick Parfitt's Recorded Delivery. Maybe those albums will see a release at some point or other, but in this video I wanted to rank the 3 albums that are out there. Now, it's worth noting, some people will say, what about Live from St. Luke's? Well, that is a live album, not a studio album. And it's also worth saying as well that this list, right, you might agree, you might not agree, can change on a daily basis. One time I'll think one is better than the other, another it's complete opposite. So the first album to talk about here in this countdown is Rossi and Rickard's We Talk Too Much, released, what, 2019? Seems like a while ago now, given everything that's happened, but I was so excited upon the release of this. It helped to promote his I Talk Too Much tour. They really should have toured it, but obviously with everything that's been going on, that wasn't possible. And obviously there was the autobiography at the same time, I Talk Too Much. But this album, for me, it was great to finally hear Rossi being true to his country roots that he often talks about in interviews, and some of it has come out in his songwriting previously. Obviously there are Quo tracks that have huge country influences, but here, alongside Hannah Rickard, he can finally indulge in that, possibly the less the kind of lesser example of that country influence is the song I Talk Too Much, which to me has kind of an ELO vibe, but the rest of it is along the lines of, you know, the country world, let's say. Some of these songs have appeared previously on Quo-related places, like Young and Moody doing But I Just Said Goodbye, which was called I'll Be Back, and it's featured on a few compilations and their album that you might be able to pick up on eBay. There's also Rearrange, written with Bernie Frost, and it was recorded as a demo, and I think it's available on the Whatever You Want Deluxe Edition and the Tim Turin 2005 edition as well. But here it's been reworked, and I know there were some people that were a little bit skeptical because it's Hannah Rickard as well as Rossi, but to me, duos in country music are very popular, and when you have 2 voices that are so different like that come together, it makes a really nice combination and really suits the music. So for me, it's, you know, it's really good. I loved the songs on here, things like I've Tried Letting It Go and Heartbreaker, which to me, that was released as a single. It's proper modern country, but my favorite on here, I know many will like Maybe Tomorrow because it's got kind of that Quo thing going on, but Sinking in Blue is amazing. The melody of that is so catchy, and whenever I play this album, I often find myself skipping to that one first because it just gets stuck in your head, and it's done in such kind of an understated country style, which I really like. So yeah, that is Rossi Rickard. Why is it not higher in my top 3 of these albums? Well, for a start, it's not Rossi 100% solo, and as will become apparent, I think I have something of a nostalgia for the others that just pit this one. Maybe in time this will rise. So we go on to number 2, and this is Francis's first solo album from 1996. In different days, this would be top of the list all day, every day. And I've talked about this before. I got it on a haul video a couple of months back. I really like this album. It's really un-Francis-like because of the people that are involved in it. But songs like Blue Water and King of the Doghouse, obviously, and even the reworkings of Someone Show Me Home and The Greatest Fighter, to me are a demonstration that he can do more than just the 12-bar shuffle or the countrified thing or the Quo thing or whatever it is that you want to call it, right? He can branch out somewhat. This album, from front to back, every song is a winner in my eyes. It's just really catchy, great production, interesting hearing horns on it too. It just works for me, and that is my number 2. So obviously the last one here is Francis' 2010 solo album, not his 2010th solo album, but rather his second one, One Step at a Time. Great title, and a great title song as well. I love the way that song builds, and a really nice message, and I have great nostalgia for this. I remember when it came out, buying it pretty much from day one and playing it from front to back almost constantly, loving the reworking of Caroline in that kind of shuffle style, and Sleeping on the Job, which he said would sound great as like a cop show theme. I'm in agreement there. I think that's great. I love the biographical tendencies of Tallulah's Waiting, and of course there is his son Nick's track, Rolling Down the Road, which still now sends shivers down my spine. It's got such great lyrics and a really uplifting melody as well. Now, the single from this was Faded Memory. Perhaps that wasn't the best idea, considering at times things on this album can sound a little bit Quo-like, so it might have caused some confusion. But then it's just a great song, isn't it? It's catchy, and it's got kind of different layers going on there. I love the way that you have kind of that mid-tempo, sort of slow to mid-tempo verse and then into the fast chorus. I think that's really cool. You've also got on here 2 reworkings of Crazy For You and the other one, Strike Like Lightning, from Paul Camilleri's album Camilleri 4, originally written by Rossi Young. They're great reworkings. I know some may prefer, though, the Camilleri versions of those songs. Now, the reason why I've picked this as my top one is because to me this feels like Francis's most kind of honest and true representation on record as a solo artist. The production, everything about it, it just feels like he's comfortable with everything, and that makes me feel really good. And there's some great songs here. Obviously, like I said, those reworkings of things that he's written over the years, as well as listening to Rolling Down the Road and going, I really like that as a song, I want to record it, and then doing it, and thus becoming one of the best songs on the album, along with One Step at a Time. So I want to ask this, because this is my number one, what track on this album do you like? Did you buy it like me at the time of release, or are you just discovering it now? So there we are, 3 Francis Rossi solo albums. Which one is your favorite? Is there a particular track here that stands out? Let me know in the comments below.